Right everyone, it is Finn here, and in today's video we're going to be reacting to some leaked home football kits ahead of the 2022-23 Premier League season. Now of course I don't think every Premier League team has released their home kit yet, but in today's video we're going to be reacting to those teams that have released a brand new kit ahead of the new season, including Brentford, who haven't released a new kit. I mean, they weren't able to keep hold of Christian Eriksen, but at least they can keep that kit from last season.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
But of course, getting into our first reaction, we're going to be looking at what I believe is the Arsenal home kit. And I mean, just jumping straight into things, I don't hate it, to be honest with you. I think it's quite quintessentially Arsenal, of course, having that red with the white sleeves. But of course, a new addition being that collar around the neck. And well, I don't know where else you would put a collar. But of course, looking at that collar, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hate it. Obviously, we're going to be seeing it in the Europa League next season. No hate Arsenal. I'm a United fan. We'll catch you there.
And the topic for today's discussion is chest pain.
But of course, looking at the kit as a whole, to be honest with you, I kind of really like it. I think it's a good one. I think it's maybe personally for me one of the better kits they've had over the last few years. I prefer the white on the shoulders over the blue that they had this season. And in terms of a rating, I'd probably give it a solid 7 out of 10. Now, of course, as I said, not every team has released their home kit yet. And once all teams end up doing that, I will end up doing a tier list ranking all of the kits. But in the meantime, I'm just going to give them a score out of 10. Now, of course, moving on, as I said, Brentford, they have kept the same kit from last season, and to be fair, it is a really nice kit. I mean, the first kit they ever had in the Premier League, and I mean, they did well last season, so I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, once again, I mean, I can't comment too much. It's the exact same kit that they had from last season. Yeah, probably a good 6.5 out of 10, if not higher. Moving on, we've got Liverpool. Now, I mean, looking at this Liverpool kit, one thing I have to say personally, once again, as a United fan, I like this Liverpool kit. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking or who was on what when they decided on those orange diagonal stripes last season. I mean, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And of course, I really like the white and red as opposed to the yellow and red. It makes them look like they're sponsoring McDonald's, of course. But yeah, as I said, I prefer the white of the red. It's a very simple design. I don't know if I can zoom in here. Yeah, I can a tiny bit. As you guys can see, there's a tiny bit of detailing as well in the kit. It's not just plain red, which I initially thought. It's almost kind of like a scale kind of design. Yeah, as I said, I think Liverpool have really smashed it this season with this kit. And I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a very solid kit for Liverpool. Now, moving on, we've got one of the more controversial kits. I've heard so many people say some really weird things. Obviously, lots of people
saying, oh, how can you have some sort of red on a Manchester City kit? It shouldn't be legal.
But for me personally, once again, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a nice break from the blue itself. I mean, it's better than the floor tiling one they had about 2 seasons ago. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's a really solid kit. I'm sure we're going to see Erling Haaland score a lot of goals in a kit like this. Yeah, as I said, I really like it. Maybe not one of the best kits we've seen, but I'll probably still also give it maybe 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. Moving on, we've got Newcastle United. And now, I mean, Newcastle United, it's black and white stripes. What else can you expect? But I do think it is an improvement off of last season. I think that the thin black stripe on the sleeves and around the neck, I think it looks like a really good design, although it's subtle. It really does make an impact. I like how they're solid lines now. We don't have that collection of black there that made it look like a 4 on their chest. I mean, once again, it's a really solid kind of kit for Newcastle United, and I think it's going to be the kit that's going to be part of a new kind of generation going forward for Newcastle United. As we know, very exciting times to be a Newcastle United fan. Sadly, as a United fan, all I can say is maybe they've got a more promising future than us at this stage. But at the end of the day, once again, very solid kits, and you know what? I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It is very nice, simple but done correctly. Moving on, we've got Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, once again, Spurs, it's going to be a plain white kit. I kind of like it and I kind of don't at the same time. Obviously, they've got black around the sleeves and around the neck with a tiny hint of like yellow as well around the neck. Once again, they've done something different. We've seen a few kits over the last few years not quite work for Spurs. Obviously, last season they went just plain white and I thought that looked really nice. But I like that they've kind of broken away from that this season and they've added a tiny bit of detail. Not one of the better kits at the end of the day. I'm going to give it a very respectable, although sounds low, 6 out of 10. It's definitely not a bad kit. Moving on, we've got West Ham United. Now, I do see that one or two kits are missing from this list as it is alphabetical order, but I will be reacting to those kits like Manchester United and that afterwards. I will search and I will find them. But of course, looking at West Ham United, you know what? Once again, very, very solid kits. I think the West Ham United kit that they had last season was one of my favorite kits they've ever had. So, of course, going to be tricky to top it. But, of course, I mean, with the white and the light blue paint stripes on the shoulders, I think that it is a really, really nice touch in terms of detail. Once again, West Ham United have definitely improved in terms of their kits. They've kind of left like kind of the standard Burnley kind of style where they just keep the same structure, the same sleeves, the same everything every single season. I think that this is a very, very decent kit. And am I going to give another 7 out of 10 for this? You know what? I'm going to say it. It's one of my favorite ones and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Personally. Of course, you guys can also put your kind of ratings in the comment section down below. We then move on to Wolves, which I mean, that's not a great picture of the kit. I think there's moving up here, there's a better picture of it. Yes, there we go, the new Wolverhampton Wanderers kit. Now, of course, I think that's a new sponsor. Obviously, we've got a tiny bit of red on the kit. I mean, once again, it's kind of that yellowy gold with black. It's typical of Wolves and in terms of their kits. And once again, I do really like it. It's plain, it's simple. Whether it's better than last season, though, I'm still undecided. I think it is one of those kits that will grow on you over time. But in terms of the current look, I do think it is very, very good. Is it a fierce Wolves kit that will give you a bite, or is it going to whimper like a little bit of a puppy? At the end of the day, I do think it is a very, very decent kit. Once again, nothing too special. A lot like the Tottenham Hotspurs one, in my opinion. And that's why I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Now, let me see if I can find some more kits.
5 minutes later.
Okay, now I believe I found the Aston Villa kit for next season, and I mean, if this really is the kit that they're going to have next season, once again, I'm not sure if it's any different to this season, to be honest with you. Let's see. The Castore Aston Villa 2023 home kit shirt features the iconic da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so it just essentially seems like every other Aston Villa kit, in my opinion. Once again, nothing too special. I really like the kit that they did have. I think it was this season or last season, with kind of the vertical stripes going down. At the end of the day, not a bad kit whatsoever, but nothing too special, and one of those typical 6 out of 10s that I've been giving to some of the others. We then have Chelsea Football Club. Now, yes, I know I might get some hate from Chelsea fans here, but I mean, I hated their kit last season. It's like a 3-year-old couldn't come up with a single design to stick with. They had like 10 different patterns in their kit. And once again, looking at this one, it is horrific. I mean, just a plain kit, it just doesn't seem to work. That 3 seems way too low. If you end up zooming in, which I think I can do here, if you look at that collar, what on earth is that? That looks dreadful. Oh, where did I end up going? Okay, let me scroll up. Let me find it. Yeah, if you end up looking at that collar, I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you. It just doesn't match the rest of the kits. It's a bit too contrasting. Once again, the rest of the kits is a bit, you know, just plain, a bit boring, and at the end of the day, one of the worst kits we've seen, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Sorry, not sorry.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be ending this kit reaction video on a Manchester United kit. Of course, my club, can they do us proud? I mean, which is a question that's been answered many times over the last few seasons. The answer is normally no. But of course, looking at this kit, I mean, it is on a female in this picture. For some reason, I struggled to find some high quality pictures of the kit on someone else. But I mean, looking at this kit at the end of the day, once again, a lot like the Arsenal kits in terms of the stripes on the shoulders. Of course, looking at the collar overall, and once again, just like Arsenal, is quite retro. And one thing that really sticks out on this kit is obviously, well, the black lining on the Adidas badge on the logo. Obviously, looking at the badge as a whole around the United badge. Now, of course, one of my favorite kits over the last few years was the Manchester United kit with the black badge. And I have to say, I definitely don't hate this kit, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's quite retro, taking us to a time where United was a world-class team. Hopefully, this kit can bring some sort of success back. Yeah, I definitely do think that this is quite a good kit. It's definitely not one of the best kits, but once again, I mean, compared to what we've had over some of the last few years, at the end of the day, I'm going to give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. I definitely don't hate it, and in my opinion, maybe it's one of the best, maybe it isn't. I do think it could go either way. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for my reaction to home kits for the upcoming Premier League season. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it down below. Of course, talking about kits, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I'm wearing my favorite, one of my favorite kits I have, the Nigerian national kit from the last few years. Guys, I want you to put down in the comment section down below. What is your favorite kit that you own? Let me know which kit that is, whether it's a country kit or a club kit. I'm just interested to see what you guys have. And of course, guys, if you want me to do a reaction to the away kits and of course all the kits when they eventually come out, leave a like down below, put down in the comment section, and of course don't forget to subscribe. We are insanely close to 5,000 subscribers. It is of course a major goal of this channel, but you guys are awesome. I know that we'll reach it very, very soon. Until next time, this has been Finn, FYNN. Cheers.